The colossal chamber of the Krill Dominion thrummed with a nervous energy that could curdle the bioluminescent veins of even the oldest elder. Holographic projections flickered, casting shifting shadows across the assembled council, a kaleidoscope of chitinous carapaces, crystalline faces, and the perpetual, unsettling gaze of the Zidon, their eyes like obsidian pools that seemed to drink in the very light. The air, thick with the scent of ozone and apprehension, held the weight of 1,000 conquered worlds, and the fear of one that might be lost. Around the vast central dais, the various clans and their representatives sat perched, their antennae twitching in unison, a silent chorus of unease echoing the turmoil brewing within the highest echelons of the Dominion. At the center of this gathering, the Grand Arbiter, Cathar, a being whose age was measured not in cycles but in epochs, stood silhouetted against a swirling nebula projected onto the far wall. His 6 multifaceted eyes, normally repositories of calculated ruthlessness, betrayed a rare flicker of uncertainty. They were, after all, contemplating a problem that had, in a single audacious act, thrown their meticulously crafted dominance into question. They had conquered worlds with ease, their legions sweeping across the galaxy, their technology crushing any resistance, until it seemed a single human warship had become a thorn in their path. The silence, broken only by the low hum of the environmental regulators, stretched to breaking point. Finally, Xyler, the representative of the Krill hegemony, his carapace gleaming with an almost oily sheen, broke the tense stillness. "The reports are contradictory," he rasped, his voice a low, guttural vibration. "The scout vessels confirm the existence of this human vessel. Its weaponry is unusual, its shielding unprecedented." He paused, his multifaceted eyes swiveling to encompass the council. "And yet, its movements are erratic, unpredictable." A wave of murmurs rippled through the chamber. The notion of unpredictability was a foreign concept to the Krill. They thrived on calculation, on the meticulous assessment of probabilities, on the cold, hard logic that had allowed them to conquer and control. These humans, these newcomers, defied such logic. They were an enigma, a variable that threatened to unravel the carefully woven fabric of Krill control. The Zidon, their gaze unwavering, remained silent, their presence a chilling reminder of the Dominion's ultimate authority. They, more than any other, understood the value of control, the catastrophic consequences of chaos. Cathar raised a clawed hand, silencing the murmurs. "The data from the orbital scans is inconclusive. The vessel has engaged our fleet in several skirmishes. The results are concerning." He allowed his words to hang in the air, the implications unspoken but understood. The Krill had suffered losses, something that had not happened in generations. The human warship, a solitary speck against the vastness of space, had proven itself a formidable opponent. The Council must decide on a course of action. Do we attempt to engage this anomaly directly? Do we attempt diplomacy? Or do we withdraw? The very suggestion of withdrawal was almost blasphemous. To retreat was to admit weakness, to concede defeat. Yet the possibility loomed, a chilling specter that threatened to undermine the very foundation of the Krill Dominion. The elders, the oldest and wisest among them, considered the situation with their vast intellects, reviewing data, analyzing probabilities, seeking the one course of action that would preserve their power and minimize their risk. The younger members, impatient and hungry for conquest, bristled at the thought of inaction. The tension in the chamber crackled, a palpable force that threatened to erupt at any moment. Gilar, the representative of the Xyler Collective, a clan known for their aggressive tactics, spoke, his voice laced with disdain. "Withdrawal is not an option. We are the Krill. We do not retreat. This human vessel is merely a nuisance, a temporary obstacle. We must destroy it and then proceed with the colonization of this, Sector Alpha." He flexed his mandibles, a gesture of controlled aggression that was meant to convey his certainty of victory. "And how, Gilar, do you propose we destroy it?" Cathar countered, his voice sharp. "Our usual tactics have proven ineffective. We have thrown legions at it, unleashed the full fury of our weaponry, and yet it persists. It defies our calculations. It adapts." The word adapts hung in the air, a chilling revelation. The Krill, with their rigid adherence to established protocols and their reliance on predictable algorithms, were ill-equipped to deal with such a foe. The Zidon's gaze remained unblinking, their silence amplifying the gravity of the situation. Their presence was a constant reminder of the Dominion's ultimate control, and their judgment would be the determining factor in any decision. The debate continued for hours, each representative offering their assessment, their solutions. Some argued for a coordinated assault, a massive deployment of the Dominion's forces to overwhelm the human vessel. Others advocated for a more cautious approach, a gradual escalation, analyzing the enemy's weaknesses before committing to a full-scale engagement. The air grew thick with frustration, with the gnawing uncertainty that had begun to permeate the very foundations of Krill dominance. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Cathar spoke again, his voice echoing through the chamber. "We have reached an impasse. The data is insufficient, the risks are too great. I propose a temporary cessation of hostilities. We will attempt contact. We will parley with these humans. We will attempt to understand them." A collective gasp swept through the chamber. Parley? With humans, it was unheard of. It was a sign of weakness. It was a betrayal of everything the Krill had stood for. "Are you suggesting weakness, Grand Arbiter?" Gilar challenged, his voice dripping with venom. "To treat with these savages, they are not worthy of our consideration." Cathar met his gaze, his 6 eyes radiating a steely resolve. "We do not know what these humans are. We do not understand their motivations, their capabilities. Before we can decide whether to destroy them or to negotiate, we must know more. We must understand the threat that they pose." His voice softened, revealing a rare glimpse of genuine concern. "We must ensure the survival of the Krill Dominion, and that, above all else, demands that we tread carefully." The decision was made. A diplomatic vessel, a ship of peace, would be dispatched to make first contact with the human warship. The mission was fraught with peril, a gamble that could determine the fate of the Krill Dominion. As the massive chamber fell silent, the weight of the unknown pressed down upon them, casting a long, ominous shadow over the future. They had conquered worlds with ease, but now a single human warship had become a thorn in their path. And the Krill, for the first time in their long and brutal history, were afraid. The diplomatic vessel, a sleek, non-combative cruiser designated the Vanguard, shuddered as it approached the human warship. The human vessel, which the Krill had dubbed the Tempest, a fitting name if they did say so themselves, was a marvel of seemingly chaotic design, a jagged, asymmetrical structure that defied Krill engineering principles. Its surface was a dull, gunmetal gray, devoid of the ornamentation that the Krill favored, the only embellishments appearing to be the complex network of energy conduits which pulsed with an internal light. Krill's sensors detected no external weaponry, no apparent means of attack. Yet, the memories of previous engagements, the data from their ravaged ships, told a different story. Inside the Vanguard, the Krill crew braced themselves. Commander Zik, a seasoned diplomat, stood on the bridge, his antennae twitching with a mixture of apprehension and grim determination. He was, after all, the one tasked with this unprecedented mission. He was to represent the Krill Dominion, to speak with the humans, and hopefully, to avoid provoking a conflict that they were no longer sure they could win. "Sensors report no change in the human vessel's activity," the helmsman Cathar intoned, his voice a low, modulated drone. "Shields are at maximum, weapons remain dormant." Zik nodded, his gaze fixed on the holographic projection that displayed the alien ship in all its enigmatic glory. "Prepare the communication array. Initiate a standard Krill greeting. Transmit a message of peace and cooperation." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, their movements precise and coordinated. They were Krill, after all, trained to obey, to execute orders without question. But even the best training could not erase the gnawing fear that permeated every level of the Vanguard. They were approaching an unknown foe, a foe that had proven itself capable of unimaginable feats. The communication array hummed to life, and a message, translated into a universal format, was transmitted towards the human warship. The Krill, with their vast experience in interstellar diplomacy, had carefully crafted the message, emphasizing their desire for peaceful relations, their respect for the human strength, and their willingness to negotiate. The silence that followed was excruciating. Zik and his crew watched the human vessel on their screens, anticipating a response. And then, at long last, it came. On the main display, the Krill crew watched as the alien vessel's surface shifted, and a bright white light flared out, forming a holographic projection in space. The Krill, accustomed to their own holographic systems, were fascinated by the simple design of the image. It showed a single figure standing against the backdrop of a star-filled galaxy. Its 2 arms were spread wide, as if in a gesture of welcome. This was followed by a series of symbols, a complex script that the Krill's universal translator struggled to interpret. "The translator is struggling," Cathar reported, his voice tinged with frustration. "The language is unprecedented. We have no frame of reference." Zik remained calm, his 6 eyes fixed on the display. He had anticipated this. The humans were unpredictable. They would not use the same language as their enemies. Attempt to cross-reference the symbols, prioritize the most common ones, see if any patterns emerge. The bridge crew continued to work, their frustration growing. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the translator produced a partial translation. "Greetings, we are the United Earth Starfleet." The following symbols were still not interpretable, but they were able to discern the phrase, "We come in peace." Zik felt a rush of relief, a moment of respite from the ever-present tension. They had received a response, a clear indication that the humans were willing to communicate. Respond with a Krill greeting, reiterate our desire for peaceful relations, ask for a formal exchange. The Krill ship transmitted its reply, and after a moment of silence, the human vessel responded in kind. A new message appeared on the display, and this time the translator was able to provide a more complete interpretation. "We are willing to parley. Prepare a shuttlecraft. We will await your arrival in Docking Bay 7. A collective gasp swept through the vanguard. The humans were inviting them aboard their vessel. It was an unprecedented gesture of trust, or perhaps a cunning trap. Zik knew the risks, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. They needed to understand the humans, to learn their ways, their motivations, their weaknesses. He turned to his second-in-command, Zyle, his voice firm. "Prepare the shuttlecraft. I will lead the delegation." The shuttlecraft, a small, unarmed vessel, detached from the vanguard and approached the human warship. The docking bay doors of the Tempest opened, revealing a vast, dimly lit chamber. Krill sensors registered unusual architectural design, far more open than their own, lacking the tight, enclosed spaces the Krill favored. The shuttlecraft docked and the ramp lowered. The Krill delegation, led by Commander Zik, stepped out. They were met not by a hostile welcoming committee, but by a single figure, a tall human male, dressed in a simple, dark uniform. The human stood still, his posture relaxed, his expression neutral. He was unlike anything the Krill had encountered. His skin was pale, his facial structure asymmetrical. He was clearly a member of a species unlike any the Krill had fought. They exchanged silent glances. The human spoke, his voice clear, calm, and unexpectedly melodic. "Welcome, I am Commander Eva of the United Earth Starfleet. We are pleased to have you aboard." His tone held no aggression, no animosity. It was simply welcoming. He turned and gestured towards a pathway. "Please follow me. We have much to discuss." The Krill delegation followed the human, their antennae twitching in a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. The interior of the human warship was a revelation. It was spacious, functional, and surprisingly clean. The architecture was both simple and elegant. They were escorted through corridors that seemed to flow, lined with large, transparent panels that revealed views of the cosmos. The Krill, with their obsession with technology, were fascinated by the simplicity of the design, the efficient layout of the ship. The tour continued. They were taken to a large conference room, a space that was both technologically advanced and surprisingly comfortable. They saw a vast holographic display showing detailed maps of the galaxy, the stars, the planets. Krill engineers were stunned by the efficiency of the ship's systems. The humans had achieved a level of technological sophistication that was almost unimaginable. Commander Eva gestured towards a seating area. "Please be seated." The Krill hesitated. They were not accustomed to seating. They were accustomed to perching, to maintaining a sense of vigilance. But the commander's calm demeanor did much to put the Krill at ease, and they cautiously sat. As the Krill settled into the seating, they noted that the human did not take a seat. Instead, he stood, his posture unwavering. "We have been monitoring your interactions with our vessel. We have noted your challenges." Zik nodded, his antennae twitching. "We have also noted your capabilities. You have proven yourselves to be a formidable opponent." Commander Eva's expression softened, as if amused. "You misunderstand us, Commander. We are not your opponents. We do not seek to conquer, to dominate, to control. We are explorers. We seek knowledge, understanding. We strive for unity." The Krill delegation exchanged glance. CES, unity? It was a concept almost alien to them. They were a species of conquerors, of aggressors. They had built their empire on the subjugation of others. "Unity with whom?" Zik asked, his voice laced with suspicion. "Your actions suggest aggression." Commander Eva's expression remained calm. "Our actions may appear aggressive, but they are not. We defend ourselves when necessary. We respond to threats. But it is not our nature to initiate conflict. We have studied your history. We understand your desire for control. but we believe that there is a better way, a way to achieve prosperity, to achieve greatness without conquest, without war. The Krill were stunned. This human was speaking of peace, of cooperation, of a shared future. It was something they had never considered. How? Zik asked, the word a simple whisper. By understanding, Eva replied. By sharing knowledge, by cooperating for the betterment of all. He gestured to the large holographic display. We have charted the known universe. We have cataloged countless species, cultures, and worlds. We are willing to share this knowledge with you. We are willing to help you. The Krill delegation was silent, processing this information. The humans were offering them an alliance. They were offering them a future of peace, of cooperation. It was almost too good to be true. Zik had the sudden impression that the true test of this meeting was not whether the humans were aggressive or not, but if the Krill could be trusted to change their nature. Why, Zik finally asked, why offer this to us? Why offer this to your enemy? Commander Eva smiled, and something in his expression changed, a flicker of understanding that seemed to reach out. Because, he said, we believe in the potential for good in all beings. We believe that we can build a better future together. He gestured to the holographic display. We believe that the universe is vast and there is more than enough room for all of us. But it is not a matter of room, but a vision, and it is ours to choose. The rest of the meeting was conducted in the same, surprising manner. The human commander, Eva, revealed a deeper understanding of Krill culture and history than they thought possible. He spoke of Krill's strengths and weaknesses, of their ambitions and of their fears. He shared detailed plans for trade and development, cooperation in the discovery of new worlds, and the sharing of advanced technologies. It was a proposal that the Krill had never heard before, not from anyone. They had conquered worlds with ease, but the humans seemed to offer something more, something that could fundamentally alter their future. As the Krill delegation prepared to depart, the full council back on the Vanguard watched their ship return. Commander Zik's face held a rare expression. He seemed to have been profoundly changed. He turned to the Grand Arbiter, Cathar, his voice calm, resolute, but with a new edge of emotion. They are not our enemies. They are something more. They can guide us towards something more. We must accept their offer. We must embrace this unity. The Grand Arbiter remained silent, processing this revelation. Then he spoke, his voice filled with a quiet determination. So be it. We will accept their offer. We will embrace unity. But we will do so with caution. We must understand the full scope of their intentions. We must not let our vigilance lapse. His gaze fell on the projection of the human warship, the Tempest. We must remember that even the most benevolent intentions can be corrupted. We must be prepared for anything. He paused, then gave the final command. Prepare for joint missions. Begin the exchange of knowledge. We must begin to build this alliance. Months turned into years. The Krill, under the guidance of the humans, underwent a transformation. They began to dismantle their war machine, shifting their resources towards science, technology, and exploration. The initial skepticism among the Krill slowly dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of hope. The humans, with their calm demeanor, their ethical approach, and their unwavering logic, had won the respect of the Krill. Together, the two species explored new worlds, discovered new technologies, and built a shared future. The Krill, used to conquest, were now learning to cooperate. They were learning to trust. The exchange of knowledge was a revelation. The humans shared their technology freely, revealing advancements in energy generation, warp drive, and life support systems. The Krill, in turn, shared their expertise in metallurgy, xenobiology, and the exploration of hostile environments. Together, they developed technologies that neither species could have achieved alone. The human fleet and the Krill Dominion stood shoulder to shoulder against the threats in the galaxy. The Krill began to explore new worlds, often accompanied by human vessels. They discovered vast mineral deposits, new life forms, and ancient artifacts. But more importantly, the Krill were learning from the humans. They were learning to respect other cultures, to appreciate diversity, and to value life. The Krill had always taken a grim view of life. This began to shift. They began to grow their own crops on the ships, using sunlight as opposed to the artificial illumination they were used to. They stopped eating the meat of the creatures they discovered, and instead experimented with their vegetable products. The culture changed. It was during one such exploration mission that they discovered something truly astonishing. A human Krill exploration fleet, venturing deep into uncharted territory, stumbled upon a colossal structure. It was an abandoned megastructure of unimaginable size, a Dyson sphere that had once housed a civilization that predated both the humans and the Krill. Its scale defied comprehension. It was a cosmic puzzle. This massive structure was partially operational and had at some point transmitted an automated message. This transmission was intercepted by both human and krill ships and translated to a language neither species recognized. The discovery sparked a renewed sense of wonder and urgency. The krill, with their newly acquired understanding of human ethics, were eager to learn more about the unknown civilization that had created this structure. The humans, with their insatiable thirst for knowledge, were equally intrigued. Together, they began to unravel the mysteries of the Dyson sphere. They spent years studying the structure, deciphering its technology, and attempting to interpret its messages. They quickly realized that they were dealing with a civilization far more advanced than either their own. But with the discovery of the sphere, the krill found a new challenge. It was discovered that the Dyson sphere was not abandoned as much as dormant. The automated systems within were still active and had, over thousands of years, begun to malfunction. And as the krill and the humans drew closer to unlocking the full secrets of the Dyson sphere, they discovered the shocking truth. The krill, with their vast experience in interstellar diplomacy, had learned much from the humans. Together, they had developed a method of deciphering the long-dormant signal. After months of decoding and decrypting, the message was finally translated. The words, clear and concise, echoed across the vast emptiness of the cosmos. "Beware the shadows." The humans and the krill stared at the message, stunned. Shadows? What did it mean? What threat did it portend? Then the krill noticed something else. The Dyson sphere was not entirely dormant. Its systems were failing, and its internal defenses were activating. Krill and human ships were suddenly under attack from the ancient structure's defenses. What was once a cosmic puzzle became an immediate threat. Krill and humans, side by side, fought against the automated systems, working together to prevent the sphere from destroying them. The krill ships and the human ships showed a level of tactical and strategic coordination that seemed impossible. The humans, with their advanced technology and their calm, ethical approach, took command. They worked closely with the krill, who in turn put aside their prior aggression and, guided by the ethical direction of the humans, proved themselves to be courageous, valiant soldiers. They showed an uncharacteristic skill with the human military tactics and utilized them seamlessly to their advantage. They had conquered worlds with ease, and now they stood together against a threat far greater than themselves. The krill and the humans, allies now, were tested. They were being challenged in a way that neither of them had ever been challenged before. Eva, the human commander, a man of few words, spoke to the assembled krill and human officers. "We must work together. We must understand the threat that we are facing. We must fight for our survival." Commander Zik, the krill representative, agreed with this assessment, and the officers went to work. Krill and humans alike fought for days, battling the sphere's automated defenses. They were able to deactivate some of the systems, but the Dyson sphere continued to generate countermeasures. The battle raged. As they fought, they discovered more. The Dyson sphere was not just a relic of the past. It was a weapon. It was designed to destroy other civilizations. It was a weapon of mass destruction. Its purpose was to destroy the shadows. This was the true nature of their new enemy. The shadows were not a metaphorical threat, but an actual threat, an invading force from the darkness between the galaxies. Eva shared his final assessment with the krill. "We are not just fighting the Dyson sphere. We are fighting the shadows. We are fighting for the future of the galaxy. We must be willing to sacrifice everything." He looked at Zik, his eyes conveying a rare emotion. "The krill dominion is no lun. Are a conquering force. It is the hope of the universe." The battle raged for weeks, the krill and the humans fighting side by side, learning to depend on one another. Krill warriors in their advanced battle suits moved with unprecedented agility. Human soldiers with their advanced weapons fought with a courage that stunned the krill. The krill learned to respect the humans' unwavering determination, and the humans learned to respect the krill's newfound courage. They fought the shadows as if their survival depended on it. During the battle, they discovered something else. The Dyson sphere was not a weapon of destruction. It was also a shield. It was designed to protect the galaxy from the shadows. The krill and the humans had a choice to make. They could destroy the sphere, which would leave the galaxy vulnerable, or they could activate it. The krill in their council chamber were divided. The young wanted to destroy the sphere and be done with it. The elder krill, who had learned the value of caution, wanted to activate the sphere. Eva and his team, present as observers, were ready to advise. "This is not a decision to be taken lightly," Cathar said. "This is a matter of life or death for all of us." "We are united in our commitment to the safety of our species," Eva said. "We trust your judgment." The Krill, looking at one another, voted. The council voted for the first time in their history in unison. They decided to activate the Dyson sphere. As the Krill ships and human ships prepared to activate the sphere, they faced their greatest challenge. They had to bypass the sphere's automated defenses and repair the core systems. The operation was dangerous. The Shadow Fleet was closing in. The fate of the Krill Dominion and the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. The Krill and the humans worked together, the Krill with their engineering expertise and the humans with their strategic leadership. They fought through waves of the Dyson sphere's automated defenses, working quickly with precision, using the sphere's internal systems to make the final repairs. Krill and human engineering teams, side by side, fought against the failing systems, working together to repair the shield. The Dyson sphere's internal systems began to activate. The Krill and human vessels held their breath, waiting for the first wave of the shadows to arrive. Suddenly, the sensor readings spiked. The shadows were coming. The Krill and the humans braced themselves for the final battle. The Dyson sphere, now fully operational, activated its defensive systems. Beams of energy shot out, tearing through the darkness between the galaxies. The sphere's shield, a shimmering wall of energy, began to grow. The Krill and the human fleets, standing together, watched in awe. The Shadow Fleet emerged from the darkness. They were a swarm of alien vessels, strange in design with a sinister aura. They descended upon the Dyson sphere. The Krill and the humans engaged in a furious battle. Krill ships and human vessels, moving in perfect unison, fired their weapons. The Dyson sphere's defenses worked together, destroying one shadow vessel after another. The battle continued. The Krill, once a species of conquerors, fought with courage and honor. The humans, with their calm, ethical approach, led the way. Together they defended the galaxy. The fighting continued for hours. And then a new wave of shadows emerged, far greater in number than the first. The Krill and the humans knew that this was the final test. The sphere was under attack and the shadows were closing in. Eva gave the command. For humanity, for the Krill Dominion, for the galaxy. The Krill and the humans answered. For the galaxy. They fought. The Krill and the humans, standing together, unleashed a fury that the shadows had never encountered. The Dyson sphere's shield held. The battle raged. As the fighting continued, the Krill and the humans began to understand the true nature of the shadows. They were not a single enemy, but a swarm of beings born of the darkness between the galaxies. They were relentless, without compassion, and their only goal was to destroy all life. They were pure chaos, and their purpose was destruction. They sought to consume the light. Eva, looking at the Krill, understood something more. He had known from the beginning what the Krill had to offer. They had conquered worlds with ease. They had the ambition, the technological skill, the raw power to change the future. They were, in the end, something more. They could become something greater. The Krill were no longer enemies. They were partners, they were friends, they were humanity. As the battle raged on, Krill and human ships, operating as a single unit, fired upon the shadows. Their weapons created an explosion of light, as their shields combined to create a force field that repelled the shadows. Krill and human ships sacrificed themselves, destroying the shadow vessels. The Krill ships Faug, HT with valor, determined to make the ultimate sacrifice. They fought for the protection of the galaxy, the protection of the Krill. They fought for the future of the Alliance. They fought with a purpose, to protect those they loved, human and Krill alike. The humans fought for the Krill. They fought for the good in the Krill. They fought for the future of the Alliance. The final battle of the war was an explosion of light and sound. The Dyson sphere, fully operational, destroyed most of the Shadow Fleet. The Krill and the humans pushed back the remainder of the forces. The battle was over. The Krill and the humans, exhausted, stood in silence, looking at one another. The shadows were defeated. The galaxy was safe. In the aftermath, the Krill and the humans found a new understanding of one another. They were no longer the Krill and the humans. They were something more. They were allies. They were united. They were the future. The Krill and the humans began to work together. They repaired the Dyson sphere and began a new era of exploration. They built new worlds, discovered new technologies, and built a shared future. The Krill, with their newfound respect for life, began to look at the universe through a new set of eyes. They began to understand what the humans had always known. They were no longer enemies, they were friends. The Krill began a new era. They began to expand their horizons. They built new ships, learned from the humans, and learned to respect the universe. The Krill and the humans began a new era of expansion. The Krill continued to explore the universe, along with the humans. They discovered new worlds, new civilizations, and new technologies. The Krill, with their newly found respect for life, worked closely with the humans. And then one day they discovered something new. They found a signal, an old signal emanating from another galaxy. The Krill, along with the humans, were shocked to discover that it was not a warning. It was not a message of destruction. It was not a call to war. It was something more. It was a message of hope. The message came from a civilization advanced beyond anything they had ever encountered. The signal included detailed information about the cosmos, about life, and about the potential for cooperation. The signal came with an invitation, a request. Come. The Krill and the humans, side by side, knew what they had to do. They knew that their journey had just begun. The Grand Arbiter, Cathar, addressed the Krill and the humans. We have conquered worlds with ease. We have fought the shadows and saved the galaxy. And now we are faced with the greatest challenge of all, the unknown. Eva nodded. We do not know what awaits us. We do not know what dangers we may face, but we will face them together. The humans and the Krill, standing together, built a new ship. They called it the Unity. As the Unity set course for the stars, the Krill and the humans shared one last look. They would face the unknown. They would find their future. They would learn. They would grow. And together they would conquer. The Unity, the Krill, the humans, and the Alliance. The new pioneers, the new warriors, the new hope. They had been tested. They had found their way. As the Unity raced towards the new frontier, Cathar's 6 eyes reflected the light of 1,000 stars as he reflected on their history. The Krill and the humans, the past and the future, had become one. The shadows had come and gone, leaving a universe of challenges. But the Krill had grown. They had been afraid. They had been wary. But they and the humans had been victorious. They had found their way. They had been a thorn. They had been the path. They had been together, and they would be forever. The future, the infinite, was theirs, and for the first time in their history, the Krill were not afraid. They were ready.